Most people approach small talk like a job interview they never applied for. You meet someone new and the script starts. What do you do for a living? Where are you from? How long have you lived here? It's a predictable ping-pong match of boring data points. Within 3 minutes, you've both run out of things to say, the silence becomes deafening, and you're both looking for the nearest exit or checking your phones. The core problem is that you're viewing small talk as a barrier you have to get through rather than a playground you get to enter. You see it as small talk, but the most charismatic people on the planet know that there is no such thing as small talk. There is only the bridge. Small talk is the bridge to human connection, and if your bridge is made of cardboard, you'll never reach the other side. We need to understand why this happens. Evolutionarily, your brain is wired to be cautious around strangers. Thousands of years ago, a stranger was a potential threat. That tightness you feel in your chest during small talk is your ancient lizard brain trying to keep you safe by making you play it safe. But playing it safe is exactly what makes you boring. To build a bridge out of steel and gold, you have to override that survival instinct and move into a state of social abundance. 1. The foundation: honest interest. Before you say a single word, the conversation has already begun. Human beings are biologically wired to detect social hunger, that needy energy where you're trying to impress someone. If you enter a room wondering, "I hope they think I'm cool," you are in a low status frame. Your body language becomes tight, your smile looks forced, and your questions feel like a performance. The other person senses this tension and their brain tells them to stay guarded. To make small talk fun, you have to adopt the mindset of honest interest. Instead of trying to be interesting, focus entirely on being interested. Think of every person you meet as a locked door. Behind that door is a world of experiences, niche hobbies, and perspectives you don't have. Maybe they've traveled to a country you'll never visit. Maybe they know a secret about an industry you're curious about. Your job is to find the key. When you approach someone with the genuine intent to find out what makes them tick, your micro expressions change. Your eyes brighten, you lean in. This signals safety and high status. People love talking about themselves, but they only enjoy it when they feel the listener is actually on the journey with them. Imagine you are a detective and your only goal is to find the one thing this person is more passionate about than anything else. When you find that fire, the conversation stops being work and starts being an adventure. 2. The science of active listening. Most people don't listen, they just wait for their turn to speak. While the other person is talking about their weekend, the average person is busy in their own head, formulating a clever remark or a story that makes them look good. This kills the flow because you miss the hooks. Real active listening is about keyword detection. Every time someone speaks, they drop tiny pieces of information that they are subconsciously inviting you to explore. These are invitations. Let's break down a real-world scenario. Someone says, "Yeah, work has been crazy lately because we're launching this new project in Berlin, and it's just been a lot of late nights." An average listener hears Berlin and says, "Oh, cool, I've never been to Berlin." This is a conversational dead end. You've taken the focus off them and put it on your lack of travel experience. A master conversationalist detects the hooks. Work has been crazy. This is an emotional hook. They are feeling overwhelmed. Launching a new project. This is a pride hook. They are doing something big. Late nights. This is a lifestyle hook. They are making sacrifices. You pick the hook that interests you most. If you're a career-driven person, you go for the project. If you're a lifestyle person, you go for the stress. Wait, a launch in Berlin? That sounds intense. Are you someone who thrives on that kind of chaos, or are you counting down the days until a vacation? Now, you're not talking about geography, you're talking about them. You've moved from data to emotion. 3. The balance: flow, not interview. There is a famous psychological study that proves talking about yourself triggers the same pleasure centers in the brain as food or money. This is the secret weapon of great small talk. Most people are dying to tell their story. They just need a safe, fun environment to do it. However, the mistake most people make is turning the conversation into an interrogation. If you just fire off question after question, "What do you do? Where do you live? Do you like it?" the other person feels a subconscious pressure. Even if they love talking about themselves, they start to feel like they are performing under a spotlight. This creates social fatigue. To make a conversation feel effortless, you need to master the spotlight shift. Think of the conversation as a relay race. Asking a great question is like giving them the baton. They get to run with it and shine. But your job is to occasionally take the baton back for a moment. Not to steal the show, but to give them a breather and offer them a new direction to run in. Here's an example. The lead. Question: what's the most unexpected thing about your job? The run, their part. Honestly, I spend 80% of my time just managing people's egos rather than actually doing the work. The shift, your input. That is so relatable. It's like that old saying that being a manager is just being a highly paid babysitter. I remember in my last project, I spent 3 days just mediating a fight over which font to use for a PowerPoint. It makes you realize that the human side of things is where the real chaos happens, right? By sharing that quick 15-second story about the PowerPoint fight, you aren't taking anything from them. Instead, you are doing two powerful things. 1. Normalization. You're showing them that you get it, which makes them feel even safer to open up more. 2. The breather. You took the pressure off them to perform for a few seconds. The goal isn't a 50-50 split of talking time. In a fun conversation, the other person might talk 80% of the time, but your 20% needs to be high-quality fuel that proves you're listening and encourages them to keep going. When you master this shift, people will leave a conversation with you thinking, wow, that was incredible, even if they realize later they were the ones doing all the talking. You gave them the greatest gift possible, a stage where they felt like a star. 4. Breaking the logic trap with playfulness. One of the biggest reasons small talk feels like a chore is that we stay in logic mode. We are too serious. We answer questions literally as if we are giving a testimony in court. If someone asks, how was your flight? 99% of people say, it was fine, a bit delayed, but okay. This provides zero fuel for the conversation. The high-level conversationalist uses playful exaggeration. Honestly, I'm pretty sure the pilot was a 12-year-old on a flight simulator, but we made it. I've never appreciated solid ground so much in my life. Have you ever had one of those flights where you start negotiating with a higher power? This invites the other person to laugh and share their own travel horror stories. You've broken the logic trap. You're no longer exchanging information, you're exchanging entertainment. You are giving them permission to be less serious, which is a massive relief in a world where everyone is trying to be professional. 5. The transition from small talk to real talk. Small talk is the front porch of a house. It's nice, but no one wants to live on the porch. You want to get inside the house where the fireplace is. That's where the real talk happens. The smoothest way to transition is through emotional labeling. When someone tells you a story, stop focusing on the facts and start focusing on the feeling. Facts are what happened. Feelings are who they are. Use phrases like, it sounds like you're the kind of person who really values autonomy. I get the feeling that was a huge turning point for you, even if it didn't feel like it at the time. You seem like someone who isn't satisfied with the standard way of doing things. When you label someone's emotion or character trait correctly, their brain releases a hit of dopamine. They feel seen on a level that 99% of people never reach. This is the moment the conversation shifts from, what do you do, to, who are you? Once you hit this level, the conversation becomes hard to end because you've created a rare moment of genuine human connection. People will cancel their next meeting just to keep talking to you because you're providing something rare. True presence. 6. The respect factor, the power of social friction. There is a common myth that you have to be nice and agreeable to be liked. In reality, being too agreeable makes you flat. It's boring. Without friction, there's no fire. Don't be afraid to playfully disagree or tease as long as you have built rapport. For example, if they say, I'm actually a huge fan of Sharknado, you can answer, wait, you actually like that movie? Okay, I thought we were getting along, but now I'm starting to question your judgment. Tell me one reason why that movie isn't a total disaster. This social friction creates sparks. It shows you have a backbone and a personality. It shows you aren't seeking their approval, and ironically, that makes them want your approval more. High-status people aren't afraid of a little tension, they lean into it. 7. The art of the narrative. To keep a conversation fun, you have to be able to tell a story that doesn't drag. Most people tell stories like they are reading a grocery list. Then we went here, then we ate this, then we went home. To make a story fun, you need conflict and emotion. Instead of saying, I went to the store and it was closed, say, so I'm standing there, it's raining, I've got exactly 5 minutes before my date arrives and I realize the store is locked. I'm staring through the glass at the last bottle of wine like it's a long-lost lover. I've never felt more defeated by a piece of glass in my life. Notice the difference? The second version has imagery, emotion, and a low point. When you share your low points or fails with humor, you become incredibly relatable. Vulnerability, when wrapped in humor, is the ultimate social lubricant. 8. The exit strategy, leaving them wanting more. The paradox of a great conversation is that the best time to end it is when it's at its peak. If you stay until you both run out of things to say, the aftertaste of the conversation is boredom. But if you leave while you're both laughing or deeply engaged, the other person will have a craving to talk to you again. This is a high status move. Hey, I'm actually having a blast talking to you about this, but I promised my friend I'd catch up with him before the night ends. We definitely need to finish this conversation later. By being the one to end the interaction, you signal that you have a life, you have boundaries, and you are in demand. You leave them on a high note, and they will spend the rest of the night wondering when they can talk to you again. What we've covered today, the framing, the hooks, and the emotional labeling, is the foundation of elite social dynamics. But knowing these tips is only 10% of the battle. The other 90% is having the internal confidence to use them without overthinking. If you want to stop trying to be charismatic and start embodying it naturally, you need a proven system to follow. If you're ready to take this to the next level and truly master your social presence, click the link in the description to check out the Confidence Code. It's our complete step-by-step program designed to turn these techniques into your permanent way of being. The code is yours to crack. I'll see you on the inside.